It's so stupid, it's positively brilliant.
The Brilliant Idiots Podcast.
Now, does this get you thinking about your future, not only with this podcast, but with radio and the opportunities for you to do, to be in the audio business on paid platforms? It's got to get you thinking.
You know how when you're friends with somebody and they already know the answer to a question, but they ask you on a podcast just for the content. Hell fucking yeah. Who wouldn't think like this?
Sometimes you gotta ask the questions that people want to know, bro.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell fucking yeah.
So can I tell you the Charlamagne power last week? You were like, I'm not talking about Tekashi at all. We talked about Tekashi. That clip of you talking about Tekashi, I think, hit 1 million fucking views on our Clips channel that had 2,000 subscribers.
Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ. But yeah, hell fucking yeah. I actually sent that Joe Rogan article around to a lot of different people that I respect in the audio business, from radio to podcast, just to, see what they're thinking, what's their temperature on this? How do they feel? Cause like things like this, to me, they're a great disruption. It's a beautiful disruption.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that Spotify is disrupting things the way that they are right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what you have to do when you're trying to make a splash. When you're trying to make a splash, you got to go get the big fucking whale, and you drop that big fucking whale in the ocean, and you watch all the water shoot up in the fucking air, and everybody else gets wet. Like, it sends a message to everybody else that wants to be in the podcast space. If you want to be in the podcast space in a real way, then you have to stop looking at podcasters like they're just some, third, fourth rate broadcasters, and understand that these people are top tier. It's 2020. Yep. You know what I mean? When you're talking about the great communicators, you're talking about the great people with microphones, you're out of your fucking mind if you're not putting some of these podcasts.
Because think about it. How do you break into the radio business back in the day, right? It's similar to the news business. You have to go to a small market. You try to make it at a small market. Then they maybe bump you up to a mid-level market. Then they maybe bump you up to a major market, right? Mm-hmm. You could, if you're a kid that's growing up and he lives in Brooklyn, it's like, do I really want to move to fucking North Dakota to do the afternoons? Or do I just want to start a podcast and build that shit up right here with my homies and have the guests on that I want to have on and talk about the shit I want to talk about and curse if I want to curse, have the conversations I want to have? Of course I'm going to do that instead of move to North Dakota.
That's why I love the podcast space, man, because, it goes back to what I was saying about, who's next, right? Because only in the podcast world right now can you see this wild ass dude from Brownsville on Twitter and invite him to your podcast, and then he becomes a podcast star himself. Taxstone, you know what I'm saying? Only in the podcast world can, OG rap veterans, like Noriega and Joe Budden reinvent themselves, in a different way for a different audience. You know what I mean? 10 years ago, both of them was probably trying to figure out how to keep their rap careers going. 10 years later, neither one of them were thinking about fucking rap. Yeah. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's podcasts are still.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so much easier to do that with a podcast?
What you just said. I don't have to wait. It's no red tape.
Yeah.
Like with radio, there's really not a lot of real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is automated. So where do you put the new guy?
Yeah.
I started off doing overnights, 12 midnight to 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, who's getting that opportunity now? Like, who's listening to air checks in 2020? Like, the new air check is the podcast. The new air check is the video blog. That's where the new air check is Instagram. Like, if I'm a radio consultant or I'm a radio program director, I'm scouring the internet looking for that next talent. But you know why a lot of them aren't doing that? Because they're not looking for talent. They're looking for music. And Spotify is so smart, because Spotify's, they part of that lawsuit right now where the writers are trying to get, more royalties, right?
This is Spotify?
Spotify, Pandora.
All the streaming platforms. Gotcha.
Almost all of the streaming platforms. I think everybody except for Apple, and I think Tidal. I'm not sure. But they're trying to get more money. Like, so these songwriters are trying to get more money. That's not a sustainable business, right? And plus, everybody got the music. Apple got the same music. Spotify got the same music. iHeart got the same music. They all have the same music on these streaming services. Pandora, what will separate all of these platforms from each other if everybody's base is music? The same thing that separates radio stations, the fucking personalities.
Bang.
You got to invest in talent. Like, it's not rocket science, people. It's simple. And that's why, like, even anything I do next, man, whatever platform it is, I have to have the ability to empower other people. That's why I love what we've been doing over here at the Loudspeaker Network, you know, for the past several years. Like, you know, this enables us to empower other people.
Right.
By just being able to launch their podcast, you know, whether they stick around with Loudspeaker or not, who gives a damn? I just like the fact that it's so many different voices being cultivated. And that's what I'm happy, you know, Spotify is doing. And I can't wait to see what everybody else does. I can't wait to see how this makes, you know, iHeart move with the way they're doing their podcast thing. I can't wait to see how if Apple might jump in the game on some exclusive shit. Because right now Apple got a monopoly on everything. 60% of the podcast listening audience is on Apple. Right. But they don't have any of their own exclusive podcasts. They have exclusive content, like Nicki Minaj Queen Radio could easily be a podcast. What Drake is doing with Young Money Radio, that could easily be a podcast, but they're not positioning it as such. They're positioning it as Young Money Radio, Queen Radio. When Drake was doing it, it was OVO Radio. They got Beats One over there, but even that's positioned like a radio station. I'm interested to see what happens when they jump into the exclusive podcast market. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it could be a huge advantage. Like, I wonder if musicians will start to do this. Do you think musicians will exclusively release their music on certain sound platforms?
It'd be smart to. I mean, some of them have already done that. Chance the Rapper did that with Coloring Book. But I mean, if I was somebody like Drake, why would I sign another record deal? I would just take money. I would just let Apple give me $20 million, $30 million for an album. Or let Spotify give me a bunch of M's for an album and put that shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because think about it. It's like the label really isn't doing anything for a guy like Drake, right? It's like,
nah.
I don't need the label to go print out some fucking CDs and put them in a CD store. There is no CD store anymore. Everything is digital. So the labels become the middleman for the elite guys. So you could just get rid of them. It's kind of like what happened with TV. It's just like TV was there. It was a great conduit to the people. But now that we can get directly to the people, TV don't need to exist. I'll just give you the shit without it being cut.
And the reason podcasts are better than music, though, think about all of the ways you got to divide the pie when you're doing music. You know what I'm saying? You put out a song, artist got to get paid, producer got to get paid, songwriter got to get paid, label got to get paid, all these different people got to get paid. You put out the podcast, you getting paid and your producer getting paid. like it's really just that simple. Your editor's getting paid. There's not a lot of people to pay out, man. It's interesting. I want to see what Spotify does too, though. Like, does Spotify continue to be aggressive? They've been very aggressive.
That's the thing, dude. Like, now that you've landed the big fish, right? You've bought brand. You've invested in brand. So now you are synonymous with podcasting because you got the big fish. The other thing that you could start doing is, if you're them, is getting niche and going, okay, we have a podcasting platform because we got the big fish, but maybe we should start servicing the niche parts of podcasting. So I want a, what is that, like a murder mystery podcast? They probably already have some of these, I want to get
that. Yeah, they're doing it.
Right. So it's like, let me service all the different parts of podcasting where they went with sports when they bought up The Ringer. Absolutely. Right. So it seems like they're going after every little thing. So maybe they continue to do that. Who knows if they can spend the same amount of money or will be as, generous with the deals. But I think that you're going to see a trend. I think it's not only Spotify. I think you see the other ones start to spend a lot of money as well. I think this is what we're doing now. Let's do it. Everybody is in a race to place second in the entertainment business.
It's going to be industry. It's going to be very interesting when these streaming platforms actually steal more from the blueprint of radio. I don't even know if I want to use the word steal, but take more from the blueprint of radio, because the next logical thing after this is some type of daily programming, right?
Yo,
You know what I'm saying? Like you grab, you know, if they can woo one of these top tier talents away and they put them on daily,
you telling me
that could be a game changer.
You telling me if the Breakfast Club was on Apple or Spotify every single morning, you could turn in, and while you were listening, you could also watch it? Because you know Apple has that with some of their shit now. You could like watch the music video.
Apple TV.
I think you could like watch the music video with the song or something. I forget exactly what I was watching. You could watch some part.
Spotify is doing that too. That's why they bought all Joe's exclusive content. That's why they put
imagine that. You sitting there, you watching it, right? Or you're listening to the song and you just listen on your way to work, and then something funny is happening in the studio, and then you get to look at your phone and all of a sudden see the video as well. Shit. Every single day. You don't think that they're thinking that right now? You're crazy.
Yeah,
100%.
I think that's one of the reasons. Even with the iHeartRadio app, that's why the iHeartRadio app is so successful, because you can tune into a bunch of different radio stations, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, you can listen to the Breakfast Club, you can listen to Elvis Duran, you can listen to Bobby Bones, Ryan Seacrest, Big Boy, whoever it is, and they even have other stations on there that aren't iHeart. You know what I mean? But that's a daily thing. So daily, you can go to your iHeartRadio app. Like that's only a matter of time before Spotify. I don't know about Apple so much. Apple's so interesting to me because all of this music shit, that's a loss leader for Apple.
You want to know why they don't care, in my opinion?
Because of that goddamn phone you keep picking up.
Well, also, in order to download Spotify on that phone, where do I got to go?
To your Apple phone.
And I got to go to the Apple App Store.
Apple App Store, yeah.
And anything that's downloaded and paid monthly for in the Apple App Store, guess who gets a piece?
Apple.
So they're like, all right, Spotify, yo, you do all the heavy lifting. We're going to get our, pound of flesh off of that heavy lifting you do. We don't give a fuck. I really don't know if they're trying to compete in that space. I almost think they'd rather everybody else take care of the software shit and they just get a piece of every single time it goes on their phone. It's kind of smart. You really want to be in the weeds, like, hustling for that shit? Like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if Apple gets in that space. I don't know if that's something I would tell people to do, though, only because I just don't know how much of an investment Apple would make into the audio personality space in that way. Like, it just seems like something they do every now and then. Like I said, like Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, whoever else they got over there, but they don't. It's not like Spotify. Spotify seems to be making a real investment
because that's their only way to make money, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Apple is doing it. It's treating it like your vacation home. It's like, all right, yeah, we'll go out there for the summer. We'll spend a few weeks there, but that's not the bread and butter. That's not the mansion. The mansion is the actual computers, the headphones, the regular phones, like the actual hardware, what they create, and then the platforms to download all the other shit. That's where I think they make their money.
Even Pandora. I wonder what the fuck Pandora is doing.
So I don't know how Pandora is still in business. I do not know.
Well, they merged. Well, I think Sirius Satellite Radio, they either bought Pandora or something. I know there's some type of merger with Pandora and Sirius Satellite Radio, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know how both of them are still in business, to be honest with you.
No, you're right. Pandora did.
They did, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
like, if I was Pandora, I would at least have Shade 45 for free on Pandora. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might can't put that. I would put like maybe rebroadcast of Howard Stern free on Pandora. Like it have to be something there to drive me daily. Like you got this entity, Sirius Satellite Radio, which is giving you programming every day.
Yeah.
Some of that free programming on Pandora to entice people to maybe, I don't know, subscribe to Shade 45 or I don't know. I just think when you have these platforms, you just have to be giving these people something daily. And like I said, iHeart does a very good job at that because you can go listen to all these different radio stations every day. But I think it's only a matter of time before one of these other streaming services, gets into that world, gets into that business. And that's going to be a real game changer.
I wonder who it will be.
I don't know.